I'm trying to get a good old lady perspective. Thank you. I'll take it. Hi, guys. Here. Oh, yeah, my hair was so long, they made a little bit for Be close to that one.
Can we go?
Okay, well, we will get started. I don't know, we are trying to do the live stream today. Had some audio difficulties, and I don't know, Luke, does it look okay on your computer? All right, it's okay. Just so you know, we have put some money aside from last year's budget to upgrade the training room a little bit here. We met yesterday, and we will be getting a brand new projector, some switches and different things like that. The first phase of this will cost about $4,200. Chief doesn't know that yet, but we're just going to sign the check. We actually have gotten almost all of that already PO'd up from last year, so we're good. So I don't have to beg him for much, so we're good. But we will have a new screen, or not a new screen, a new projector, and that's just part of it. Another part of it that we met with yesterday is when you watch those TED Talks or some of the stuff that you watch on YouTube and stuff like that, they've got a box, and I don't remember the exact name it was. A what? Electric capture box and stuff like that, where we'll have a camera that will be placed somewhere, and that we'll be able to switch between the PowerPoint and the presenter, so that those that are watching on YouTube can either, will be able to see the PowerPoint from the computer versus from a video push there. And it's really pretty neat. We're going to have that going pretty good. So, obviously I heard some conversations about this. There are a few extra things in here this morning to start with. About some of the stuff that I'm going to talk about is a big review, all right? And it's been, as I went back and looked at our Leadership Academy topics, it's been about a year, well, it's been over a year since we've done incident command and risk management type of stuff. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Calvin and Hobbs, some of my favorite stuff, kind of makes me laugh when I look at it, come across my Twitter feed. And all I can think about here is, a few of our children, or Brandon Parr. As when we talk about being well adjusted, and is he watching? Okay, good. You might not see that very good, but this next one just about kind of portrays maybe some of you guys with the back to school stuff going on right now, where everything's a little scatterbrained and you're still trying to get your schedules and stuff like that. And the guy that writes these things, that just makes me laugh at some of the how they portray it, because that's exactly what they're thinking as they're driving to school, pissed off and everything else. So I kind of like Calvin Hobbs. So anyway, all right. So managing and assessing the risk in the incident action plan. Okay, like I said, there's not going to be a whole lot of groundbreaking information that you haven't seen before, that you haven't heard me talk about before. So we'll just get going, and hopefully we'll have some discussion and come up with some good ideas here. All right. Okay. I think anybody that has listened to Chief Ward or myself or have taken a test know that the risk management, emergency risk profile is something that we take very seriously. This is not something that Chief Ward made up or it's out there, but it's out there in many different contexts, all right? Every fire we go on, every incident that we go on, we are either in an offensive or a defensive strategy. There is no in between, two strategies, all right? And then our strategies are based on our standard risk management profile. we may risk our lives a lot within a structured plan to protect savable lives. We will risk our lives a little within a structured plan to protect savable property. And we will not risk our lives at all to protect lives or property that is already lost. This is our emergency risk profile. This is how we assess what we're going to do, when we're going to do it, and how we're going to do it. All right? By thinking about this, develops our incident action plan. Okay? And it starts from right now. Okay? This is our mindset. Okay? Does anybody seen the news coming out of FDNY last week about, it was on Twitter, came out of FDNY, and there was quite a stir that one of their captains, he's a training captain, they put on a recruiting poster that we do not run into burning buildings. Mm-hmm. And it caused quite a backlash. And, we do that, right? But they're trying to recruit people because they say we don't run into burning buildings. Well, we do run into burning buildings when we need to. But it created quite a backlash in New York with the union and with a lot of the FDNY guys that he got ostracized pretty bad.
He also suing the department for services development society. He's suing the department for some reasons.
I didn't hear that. I didn't go that far into it. All right. As we develop our incident action plan, these are our 3 tactical priorities that we need to think about as we're going. Okay? Life safety and rescue, the number 1 priority. All right? Life safety of who?
Ourselves and possible ourselves first.
Ourselves first, right? Life safety of ourselves. Now, will there be there may be a time at some point in our career that, we have savable lives that we can get, and we're going to put ourselves at pretty significant risk to go get that, right? But life safety is our number 1 priority. Ours, and then the people that we're trying to save, all right? Incident stabilization, let's get this thing under control. Let's at least not make it any worse, okay? We could have a complete loser of a fire, but let's not make it worse by sending somebody in somewhere where we shouldn't be going, or getting that building next to it on fire, or something like that. And then property conservation, okay? Do the best we can to protect what we can, okay? Once we get to a certain point in a building fire, let's send some people in there with some salvage covers and try to keep these people's property and their safety safe and preserved. Our tactical priorities also match up right on top of our incident benchmarks. Once we get it all clear of that structure, the only life safety factor we have is our own. So as we're working through the incident action plan and developing that, what's one thing about an incident action plan that we should always be doing? Adapting. Somebody say reassessing? Adapting and reassessing. So when we get that taken care of and all clear, that's a huge landmark in our incident. That's a huge thing to be able to say, okay, now we can reassess. Should we be in this building? Do we have the time to get in here and get this thing done? Because we're all clear. Okay? Can we get that from the driveway of the home with the homeowner standing next to us? Can we get an all clear from him? I think so. If he could look at it, at least most of it, right? Like, if he looks at you and says, my entire family's standing right over there, we're good to go, I'll take that as what? All right? If he tells me that, and he's, but he's not panicked and frantic and missing a kid, but if he tells me my entire family's standing right over there, I'm gonna take that into consideration, all right? Incident stabilization, fire control. If we have got the thing under control, we have stabilized that incident, okay? And then the last one, which I think we get to a little too quick sometimes, is lost stopped, all right? Remember, lost stop means we're not losing anything else, okay? But at times I think we get to this so that we can check a box off on our form or on our tactical worksheet, okay?
I think going back to the instance, you said we have fire control to stabilize the incident. I think we need to be really careful with our thinking there, because a lot of guys, proven if we read all the reports, a lot of guys get hurt after the fire's out with falling debris. So we may have stabilized it from going further with control of the fire, but I think we still need to keep heads up, head on a swivel. I mean, because things
Sure.
happen after.
Sure. Yeah, you could be still at risk. You're right. You're right. That's a very good point. Just because you got fire control, you may even be to the lost stop portion of this thing. What was the line of duty death? It was Virginia somewhere, Virginia Beach or somewhere, where the guy that they lost was the safety officer, and he fell through or came overcome, and they had all left the scene, and his car was still sitting there. And he was the safety officer or one of the investigators. I can't remember, but yeah,
I think we have to remember the house has been under a state of being all good. We have to remember that at all times when we're in there.
All right, our tactical worksheet, we got the tactical work boards. I encourage all of you to get into them, look at them, and as you stand down through some of this stuff, these are our check marks. Okay, these are the things that we're looking for. This is for you guys that haven't been into that or seen that tactical board or anything like that. You can. What?
All this is printing was wrong, but that's okay. When we do our key boxes, that's.
Oh.
The error we made, but we tried to fix it.
But for you guys, look at this sheet, and that you'll recognize the terminology that the battalion chiefs and the captains and the incident commanders are asking you for as we're sitting right here in this tactical worksheet. Okay, get into that and look at it.
I think it's one thing too, it's nice when you have your IC, once you reach one benchmark, you state what your next benchmark is, and the crew has basic direction that we're going in.
I think that's huge. I try to teach, when we teach the CTC, I try to get people to do that everywhere we go. But for us, I think it's huge because it's a verbal, it's just the way you learn. You kind of go back into a different way of the way you learn when you see something, when you hear something. But if you can hear it, and at every benchmark too, hey, this is your 10 5-minute notification, this is your 10-minute notification, this is your 15-minute notification. Copy 15 minutes, we're still offensive in command mode looking for lost stopped. We're still in offensive strategy command mode looking for an all clear. Okay? It doesn't take any longer to say that than that right there.
Basically keeps everyone on the same page and refocused on what the overall goal is.
Yep.
Fire.
Keeps that going. Strategy choice. Shiloh, where in the development of the IAP does your strategy come into play?
I think it should be at the beginning.
Okay?
I mean, obviously, because you want a direction, you're making, are you talking about like command or investigation, like that kind of strategy?
That's your mode, your strategy. What's our strategy, Brian?
Offensive and defensive.
Offensive and defensive, okay? Our strategies are offensive and defensive. So, offensive or defensive? So Charlotte, back to that, offensive or defensive strategy, we're developing our instant action plan, okay? You roll out of the station and you see an enormous header, okay? Without seeing another single thing at all, where are you, what do you think? Now you're starting to think, right? What about an address of 500 North Sugar Street and an enormous header? Turn around, go the other way. Okay? All right? Pre-plans, okay? Think about that, all right? obviously, the strategy choice comes in right at the first, right when we arrive, okay? Before that, if you've got certain clues that are coming at you, all right? So, offensive strategy, aggressive firefighting aggressively fighting the fire from either an interior or exterior position in an effort to save lives or property, all right? Those of us that have been around a little while have gone back and forth on this, and people argue with us occasionally that talk about, well, an offensive strategy is we're always interior. That's not the case. We are aggressively fighting the fire from an interior or exterior position, trying to put this thing out. All right? Okay? All right. Trevor, offensive or defensive? What do you, hold on a second. Before we go any further here, I don't believe that there's a right answer here, but this is where my discussion comes into play, okay? Trevor, offensive or defensive?
Well, I'm 360 route. I'd still probably go offensive because it's just one side.
Okay?
Until we get a little bit more intel on it, but we can also go defensive.
Okay? Does anybody else have a different opinion on that? I believe that this is a fire that, with an inch and 3/4, we can get after really, really good. With a 2 1/2, we can probably completely take it out. All right? But look at all this down here. There's no smoke. There's nothing going on down here or up here. This to me looks like what? What does this look like? What kind of fire? Yeah, it looks like an attached garage fire that's extended into that attic, the mother-in-law apartment, right? All right? But it looks like this part of the house is still good. I think that's an offensive fire right now. Okay? JR, offensive or defensive?
Oh, could be enough. I mean, if there's people in there or something, we can go offensive.
Well, without any other information, what do you think?
Offensive.
Offensive? Does anybody have a problem with that one? I still think this is very similar. We have a lot of houses over here that we could probably say. Starting to get a little bit right here. It's a little spooky. Okay? What's that?
It's probably ordinary.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know that I'd want crews down this side, but I still think we could get after that, right? But right now, this is high, all right? And an effective fire stream is going to have to either come from above, or it's going to have to knock down really, really quick. All right? That's my opinion. Supinger.
Looks like the only thing not burnt is the garage. So
Okay.
it's gonna be defensive.
All right? Anybody else have a different opinion of that? I look at this thing, and although all 4 walls are mostly standing, except for maybe back there, we have fire through both floors right here. We have fire through both floors right here. Just because this looks good, I think this is a loser.
Look at the volume of smoke too, compared
Yeah.
to building size.
Yep, and it's churning off of there. I think this is a loser. All right? I think this is a defensive fire. And, yeah, this is probably just facade, it's probably wood frame, okay, so, but still, that's pretty tall right there. Gotta be careful of that.
Even if you go offensive, because we did in Tablewood several years ago, very similar, put the fire out, after a while, they dosed the house and it's a vacant lot, so that's what you risk your life. There's nobody in it, we were put it up to do that, they dosed it, it's a vacant lot.
We're gonna move on for just there, but I don't think, does anybody have a different definition of offensive strategy, than what that is? Does that sound pretty good? Okay. Well, I went to try to find an actual, like a definition, like maybe somebody has, perfected the definition of a defensive strategy, and I couldn't find a good one. That offensive one I found was, the words might be turned around a little bit, but it was pretty consistent and actively fight a fire from an interior, exterior, aggressively fight a fire. What's your definition of a defensive strategy? Joel?
Mine is to protect external source, just protect the area around it.
Okay, Kyle?
I was gonna say still aggressively fighting a fire, but from a position of safety.
Okay, definitely not interior, definitely not collapse zone?
Right.
Okay. Lieutenant Turnbow?
Oh, you did not. I've been trying to train him for all my bad experiences. I've trained him for years to be a lieutenant. I gotta buy a whole new box of dogs.
It's basically, you know what, it's basically everything that's not
Something
offensive
stuff.
Yeah, it's blurry.
is gonna be defensive.
Basically being first or last.
Yeah. What did he say?
Huh?
What did he say?
He said everything that's not offensive is defensive. So I came first.
We don't have traditional, so.
I could not find a real good definition of defensive, a defensive fire. So I came up there, I found two. An officer determines that the structure is or soon will be unsafe for an interior attack. Okay? Contain the fire to the building of occupancy of origin and cover exposures. A defensive operation should be initiated when fire conditions prevent an interior attack. I couldn't find a real good one.
You could just basically say the risk is greater than the benefit.
The risk is greater than the benefit.
I mean, that pretty much, because you'll have, even though there's one strategy on the fire ground, you'll have certain areas though, like we talked about, on a strip mall, where you're not going to enter
Right.
into the
This.
nail salon that's fully involved, but the Bravo and the Delta exposures we're gonna be in an interior, in an offensive strategy.
Still being able to try to save some of that stuff,
But
yeah.
the benefit of us being inside that nail salon that's fully involved is not there, because the risk is greater than.
Yeah, you gotta figure out, you gotta decide whether the risk of being in the exposure to the right or the left of it is also
Right.
worth the thing too. Basically, defensive strategy is we need to fight that fire and keep it away from other places, but staying out of the structure or staying out of the collapse zone. The NIOSH report came out last week for the Kansas City, Missouri firefighters who got landed on by a brick wall. Okay, it was a defensive fire, they were in the collapse zone and the wall came down and got them. All right, that NIOSH report came out last week. So, and that was almost 2 years ago, if I remember. So, but anyway, either way, fighting a defensive strategy, we are fighting that fire from an area that you cannot, so that you do not put yourself in harm's way either from the collapse zone or the interior structure. All right? All right. Who haven't picked on yet? Let's see, Corey Flinders.
It's classic transitional.
That to me, I think is a defensive fire. Does anybody else disagree? It's not a very good, it's a tough picture to see, but I mean, that car's involved, we've got, it's already burnt through right there, all right? This person's like saying, please save my house. I think that's a defensive fire. All right? Kelsey?
Just looking at that portion of the building, it's defensive, but still wanna do a 360 and see what's underneath and not to the west side.
All right, yeah, so just this picture makes me think that these guys are in a bad spot. All right, this is not the fire, but there's a fire just like this out of Phoenix that was caught on a traffic cam, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Down on the one end, got those guys, I don't think it killed anybody, but it hurt one. But this probably looks, this looks like to be some sort of apartment or a hotel or something. But right there, where those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dudes are, looks pretty tenuous to me.
I don't think the weight rating is proper for a lot of people.
Well, that's possible, but either way, we've got a whole lot of fire burning through right above their heads. And I see a hose line looking right there. All right? I would agree with Kelsey that without seeing anything else, that should probably be a defensive position. But if this thing goes 10 units this way, then we should probably still be offensive, but we need to be somewhere where probably not where those guys are. Jeremy?
Now, let me ask something real quick, Scott. I think a lot of times when we look at these fires, and we look at the fire volume, and we're trying to determine, you know, if offensive or defensive based on the fire load and what's going on. And really, I think we need to break it down to what is there to gain, right? In this situation, what's there to gain? What are they doing by being on there? Why would we even need to go forward in an offensive attack? You know, there's so many variables going on there, but just bottom line it.
Yeah.
What are we gonna get out of this?
Our risk
to the ground, like Chief just said.
Yeah, this is going down. So we probably should not be right where these guys are.
I think it makes decisions a lot easier when you think about it in those terms, rather than if there's, you know, what kind of fire volume you're having.
William?
Offensive?
Offensive. Is this a manpower intensive fire?
Yes.
Yeah. Is this in our system, is this a first alarm? Or what should we be, what should we be pulling out right after we say working fire, what else should we ask for? Second alarm. What do we get on the second alarm, guy?
Another truck, another engine, all the chiefs.
What do we get on the second alarm?
Truck, 2 engines, ambulance.
Truck, 2 engines, and an ambulance. And usually more chief officers. Truck and 2 engines and an ambulance. All right, that's what we get. All right. We got possible rescues, but does anybody else have a problem with this being an offensive fire? I think we can go get this, right? Okay. It'll be tough. Yeah. Tin Cove or a lot of them. Layton Meadows, 2-story. I don't know, Brent.
Yeah, I'm written here. It's offensive on part of it and defensive on the other part.
I think so.
Just because you got that section on this, basically on the west side. It's not a boat.
Yeah, I think we got problems right here, and it's already burnt through. It doesn't matter if this is ordinary or ordinary construction or lightweight. We got problems here, right? And I don't know that we should be anywhere in this area, but this looks like we probably ought to get after it, right? Okay. Anybody else have any more comments on that one? Okay, now back to Shiloh. We have 2 strategies, Shiloh. We have offensive and defensive. And now, here's our modes of operation. This is what you were going with right now. We have fast action, investigation, or command. All right? Fast action means that to everybody else that's on the radio, as we're coming into this thing, that initial on-scene report gives us at least, you know, a thought in our head that this is what we've got going on, and Captain Nance is going offensive, fast action. Where is Captain Nance right now? After he gets out of his truck and shows it to his air pad.
Engaged.
He is engaged in the firefight, right? Okay? Just because he's engaged in the firefight, does that mean that he's not the incident commander still? No. He is still responsible for the next unit to come in, that assignment. That's a lot to do right then and right there. Okay? When you're in fast action, you are at the business end of whatever it is you're doing, and we know you're busy. All right? Investigation. Nothing visible initially. I read an IOS report, and I got some people that I don't think it was a death. It was a death. There was a death involved. It came in as a full structure fire. The first initial officer got there and said, got nothing showing right off the bat. It was in an apartment complex is where it was. They rolled the elevator up to the floor with nothing showing, and when the elevator opened, heavy smoke. So they weren't 100% ready to fight fire. Okay? They got into the NIOSH report cited complacency of on-scene crews because of the initial nothing showing report. All right? Every one of us says it. Nothing showing will be offensive investigative mode. Okay? I don't know necessarily that we need to change anything because that's really what we're seeing. There's nothing. But for the rest of us coming in, be very, very cautious with, just, there's nothing there.
Nothing showing on a 900 square foot single family building without a basement that's slab on grade versus nothing showing on a Walmart supercenter are two different possible scenarios. I mean, it's size of the box, really, when you think about it. I mean, like that smoke show at Walmart supercenter, you got a big problem.
But just remember that. And then the command mode, okay? When we're in command mode, where are we? In your vehicle, okay? All right? I didn't put the slide in here, but we have a department to the north of us here that their SOP, their first arriving officer, goes into command mode. Period. Okay? It was in a Mayday presentation, and I don't remember, it might have been Brent that sent me the slide from a conference you were at, I think. You might have said, I don't remember if you did or not, somebody did, that said 71% of Maydays were called. The initial company officer was not in the room with them because he was outside running command. Okay? Where are our officers at? Our officers are in there with our crew, right? That's where we put them, okay? They have the tick, right? They probably shouldn't be, they shouldn't be number one on the hose line, right? Okay. Okay. 10 rules of engagement in structural firefighting, okay? These are not anything that we haven't seen before. However, that article that I found last night, did something that explained something to me that I didn't know before. All right, on page 2 of the article, in the conduct the size up portion of this thing, the bottom paragraph says, next the commander needs to quickly assess what interventions will be possible given the assessed situation. The International Association of Fire Chiefs first published the 10 rules of engagement. This model was based on two key concepts: acceptability of risk and risk assessment. Now, I've always seen these two slides right here, okay? But I didn't realize that there was kind of two different categories. The acceptability of risk, okay? As a firefighter, we accept a little bit of risk, okay? I don't like this. All interior firefighting involves an inherent risk. Let's take out the interior because I think all firefighting involves an inherent risk. Wildland firefighting, hazmat, okay? But these first 5 are talking about our acceptability of risk. Number 1, no building or property is worth the life of a firefighter, okay? This is our risk. Some risk is acceptable and measured in a controlled manner. That's right in our risk management profile, right? Firefighters shall not be committed to interior firefighting operations in abandoned or derelict buildings. Okay? The next 5, if you look at that article, is a risk assessment. Okay? These change because this is being part of the IAP. This is being assessed by every one of us from the front yard or from the truck. So these other 5 are more like a risk assessment. Okay? I just thought it was interesting that that's different. But do you see what's number 1 and number 10? They're in both lists. No building property is worth the life of a firefighter. Okay, before I move on here real quick, as part of this article, okay, there's a section of this article that differs from what our mode of operations or our philosophy is around here, and that's this, on that 3rd page where it talks about determining the mode of operation. Okay, he talks about offensive mode, he talks about rescue mode, he talks about marginal mode, he talks about defensive mode. Okay, this guy doesn't talk about strategy, he talks about modes. So I'm just telling you that there are different opinions out there. This article is really good, and there's other parts of it that we're gonna cite here in just a few minutes, but, just remember, there are different opinions, and that's not our opinion. Okay?
That's right.
That's not our opinion, and that's not what we teach here. We teach 2 strategies and 3 modes, okay? This particular gentleman is talking about the determined mode of operation in different opinions. Okay? All right. All right, now, this is from the 8 functions of command, all right?
Can I just say one thing on that, it's kind of just, Chief Sullivan, when we do our guided habits, or habits about it, talked about this, you gotta be thinking of a fire as almost like a football game. You gotta be out, but there's 2 sides of football, right? You're either on the offense or you're on defense, right? So you have a playbook depending on which side you're on. Maybe, if you're on offense, you're not using defensive plays. If you're on defense, you're not doing offensive plays. So you have to think about it that when I'm in that strategy, that's why there's only 2 strategies. When I'm in the offensive strategy, I'm using my offensive playbook. If I'm in the defensive strategy, I'm using my defensive playbook. I have certain things that go with the defensive playbook and certain things that go with the offensive playbook. So that's just one way to maybe think about it. That's why we say there's only 2 strategies. So, okay. That makes it simpler, so Lieutenant General can understand.
All right. So the 8 functions of command, okay? These aren't something that I've made up. These come out of the Brunasini book of 8 functions of command. That's the name of the book. All right. We assume and announce command. That is from the newest firefighter of Shiloh, Supinger, and Cunningham to the battalion chief or the chief officer. Whoever's there first, you set up the command. Okay? You're responsible for that thing going on right now. Okay? Until somebody comes and takes it from you. Rapidly evaluate the situation and the size up. Initiate, maintain, and control communications. Deploy companies and establish accountability. Okay? Now this I did add. Okay? Right here, deploying companies and establishing accountability. Then there's the other 5 right there. In the deploying companies and establishing accountability portion, we need to be very clear with our instructions. Position, function, assignment or task, and their accountability location. All right? This is where you have to be very specific. Okay? Good incident commanders will get better results by being specific. Where do you want the crew to go? Where do you want them to position? Okay? On a residential structure fire, telling the crew where to park their truck is probably a little overboard. On Walmart or Sam's Club, and you want them to go in on the Charlie side, I'm not telling you where to park the truck, but you need to make that. I need you to go around to the Charlie side. There's a big roll-up door. Enter there, the Charlie division, your accountability location will be at your vehicle. All right? Be very specific when you are deploying your companies. Function, what do you want them to do? I want them to pull 1 3/4 off the truck, enter through the man door of the garage, and put that fire out. You are going to be engine 53. Accountability location at the truck. This will be something from countywide. Anyone else too?
I think it's
This
mine.
one,
I think it's
this one is Davis County.
Okay. All right.
I just got Farmington on.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Sure.
Does anybody?
Hey, you got the right shirt on today.
Okay. Does anybody have any comment on this? Does this seem a little bit too much? Position, function, assignment, accountability.
It all fits within the T boxes that we teach on the transport sheet. Position up in the left corner. And if you're gonna name somebody, it goes up on the upper right, and then you've got the unit on the left, and then what they're doing in the main box on the right, so.
Now I got a slide in here that kind of I tease a little bit with this, but it can be a little true, and I'll come to that in just a second. Identify the strategy and develop the incident action plan, develop an effective incident command organization, review and evaluate, like Brent said earlier, and then provide for the continuity, transfer, and termination of command. Those are the 8 functions of command.
Scott, going back to the function assignment, I think it's just important to know that, yes, you're telling them what you want them to do, but it's up to the company officer on how that job gets done. So hey, I've got a fire, we've got a fire in the garage, go after it. Okay, now it's up to me and my crew. Are we taking the main door down? Are we going through a window? How that happens, the tactics of it are often left up in the company officer level. Unless you're seeing something I'm not seeing, and you have that extra set of eyes. But I think when we get super specific, sometimes you can hamstring your guys because they're up close and they may say things that you're not seeing.
Okay, and now I'll agree with that. I'll agree with that because if I give you a function and if I ask you to go do a specific thing, and you get to that spot that I can't see, and you tell me I can't get in this way, I need to do this. That's the two-way communication that changes my thing. But if I ask you to hit the fire on the Bravo side man door of the garage, and because I know you can get, I know at least you get a good licking on it, and I tell Brent to go through the main portion of the house to do a quick search and hold that door, at that exact moment, I'm looking at it from my viewpoint saying, Kyle's gonna start hitting this and knocking it down, which then Brent's trusting me that I'm not putting him in a shitty position.
Right.
But if you look at it and go, well, I'm not gonna do that, I'm gonna take some time and make a big old cut in this big overhead door, now I put Brent into a position because my IEP just got changed because you went in there.
And that doesn't mean to change what you're saying, but oftentimes we don't get that specific, like which exact door to go through. Oftentimes the size of the hose line, those things are often left at the company officer level rather than from the command position. It seems like it.
Sure, but
You just gotta be a little careful, because if you're going in, if you're going in here at Walmart,
Oh, I
I'm
agree.
gonna make sure, I might say, take a 2.5.
Well, I would hope that all our company officers would already
I would
be
hope so
thinking
too,
that.
but sometimes just to reiterate.
I think our.
Not a bad idea.
I don't wanna go to the level of, Kyle, I want you to go in the front
Right.
door, either protected or unprotected, I want you to do a left-hand search
Right.
and then go to the basement when you're all the way done. I don't wanna go that far, but I do think it's important that as an incident commander, you say, medic engine 52, you are gonna go, I need to take an inch and 3/4 to get me an all clear of that main level of that house. And to me, that's.
I agree, and I guess what I'm getting at is, what I'm trying to say to everybody is, we have to be able to think, like, you can't sit and wait for everything to be dictated. You get a job to do, we should be trained up to be able to go in and deploy the tactics that we've learned through our training and our time and our classes to get that job done.
Right.
That's what, everyone needs to be thinking, here's my function, now here's how I'm doing it.
And I don't want it to make it sound like that we need to nitpick it right down to the, or armchair quarterback you right to that exact point.
Right.
But make sure that they know where they're going, what they're doing, and what I'm calling you. Meaning that if we're just gonna stay with medication 52, then that's what I'm calling it.
Right.
If I'm gonna assign you to the interior division, then your boss is him, and he's gonna answer for you, okay? Just where you're going, what you're doing, go get her done. All right. Let's see. Okay. While we're talking about that real quick, let's go back to the article, okay? And we're gonna talk about setting the incident goals, okay? Before we move into the initial size up, we're gonna go back to, our IAP here real quick, okay? And how we're gonna get there, okay? On page 3, we talked about setting the incident goals, all right? With the incident goals, what the commander must accomplish with the resources available to resolve the situation. In developing their goals, the following 3 sets of priorities should be considered, okay? We already talked about life safety, incident stabilization, and property conservation, okay? what struck me with this paragraph in this article is the incident goals that we set with the resources available, okay? I want you to think about that. With the resources we have available. We are as busy as we've ever been, okay? We could, right now we have more people on than we've ever had, okay? We're up to 18 a day, right? Plus a mutual aid company coming. So we're at 22 people, not including the other chief officers on their way, if it happens right now, okay? If it happens right now. If we've got medical strung out across that board and a couple medic engines around, out and about, okay, we don't know exactly how much help we're going to get. Are we getting rescue engine 41 out of Clearfield with 2 guys? Are we getting engine 31 out of Syracuse with 2 guys? Okay, so think about that when we are developing our incident action plan as we're going to the fire. Okay, ways for you to do this, and this is what cued me into this here, is with the resources available. If you guys will sit and scan, and Kelsey can probably attest to this, okay, if you listen to North Davis a lot, and I don't want to pick on them stuff, but I don't think they listen to what their other units are doing ever, okay? They talk about, I hear them come up on the radio all the time saying, hey, what are they on? Where are they at? How come they're not coming here? Do they need help? All right? We have resources available to every one of you in the station, okay, on your hip, with your radio, or in your truck, to know where people are at and how they're going and what their response is going to be. Are they delayed because they're coming back from McKay? My whole reason for talking about this with our resources available is stay aware of what's going on throughout the day. Know where people are at. Ralph?
Would that not affect your determination right up front, whether you go offense or defense, especially on one of them?
No, absolutely.
Marginal fires that could go either way when you're right.
No, absolutely. And that's exactly why I wanted to talk about this, is because if it happens right now, Brad has 18 or 17 of you guys available right now to go put this fire out, plus a mutual aid company. If it happened last night about 8 o'clock when B platoon was spread out all over this city, Aaron had engine 53 available, and that was it. It makes a difference when you're setting your IAP. It makes a difference when you are thinking about where you're going, offensive or defensive. When engine 53 is the only thing left, and it's Brent, Ralph, and Kurt Larson with Brad, the best thing we may be able to do is start putting a whole bunch of fire out from the front yard. Right? Because that's all we got.
Fair that, and then just the captain.
That's true. That's true. And
I'm saying, it goes through your mind a lot when you're 3.
It does.
Sometimes you're
down to the 2 of you. Yeah, that's it. So I'm just saying, when you're setting your incident goals and you're developing your incident priorities in your IAP, remember what your available resources are. And how long it takes for our help to get here. Okay? All right. As we go down to the next paragraph, determining tactical objectives. Okay? Our new acronym to fight fires is what? SLICE-RS. All right. If you look at if you keep your papers and you put page 2 and you put page 4 next to each other, okay, we can go right down SLICE-RS. Conduct the size up. So on page 2, conducting the size up. S. The L, locate the fire in your size up. Moving over here to determining tactical objectives on the fourth bullet point. Control the flow path in the structure. Isolate and control the vent path. C. Cool the fire from a safe location. Right there. E. Overhaul the fire. Extinguish, overhaul. And then R and S, salvage and rescue. Right? This guy says it in a different way than what SLICE-RS says, but we get to the same thing, right? Even RECIO BS is kind of the same thing, but the big part about it is size up, locate, control the vent path, cool from a safe location, and then get in and kill. Get in and get it. All right? Okay. Initial size up. Okay, we talk about this a lot. We talk about our size up. We don't need to get crazy. Okay? Type 1 construction, type 3 construction. We don't need to get crazy about that. Keep it simple. Okay? Okay? Declare our, okay? Brandon Supinger. When we say declare a working fire, what do we get? Extra?
Utilities,
Okay.
medical utilities.
Okay? What else?
We get notifications to everyone's phones,
Okay?
so people off duty or part-time backfill stations.
Okay? Trevor, what else?
You get public works.
That's utilities, yeah, okay? So utilities coming. We get the back call, right? And we get our rehab, right? Okay, that's what we get with working fire, okay? It tells everybody we got something going on in town. If we can come back, we come back.
You also get your, fire investigators.
Yeah. They don't necessarily respond until the working fire, but when the working fire comes in, they may come out. Okay? It's not part of it to specifically get the investigators to come, but they're like the rest of us. When we have a working fire, they're going to probably be coming back anyway, or at least one of them will be. Strategy. Very important as part of our IAP. Offensive or defensive, and then our modes. That's right in our initial size up. Okay? Is there any problem with taking a breath and finishing your initial size up after you take your breath? No. Any problem with taking a breath before you do your initial actions and take a look at things? No. Okay? No.
It's probably better that way.
It's probably better that way. There's a whole lot of stuff that happens right here. You need to take that out, because that's wrong.
Why is it wrong? Because we loaded it up front instead of waiting.
That's right, we did. We loaded our mutual aid company up front instead of waiting for the working fire. So I need to take that out. I missed that while I was preparing for this today. So. All right. Without a command structure or an effective IAP, multiple commands, fire ground operations break down in 7 predictable areas. Okay. Actions. Firefighters not following the proper procedures, incorrect actions. You can read that. Okay? We don't have good command, we don't have good coordination. We'll allow freelancing of groups of firefighters. Okay? When we get through this, I'm going to put this quote up here for just a second. And this is more of a leadership quote than it is about incident command and tactics and things like that, but there's a part of it that I think is important when we're talking about procedures, incorrect actions, or freelancing groups of firefighters or something like that. We need leaders that inspire our people. We need leaders that understand that what we do makes a difference. It makes a difference that we turn out quickly. It makes a difference that we stretch hose correctly. It makes a difference that we do a search correctly and quickly. It makes a difference that we have leaders that understand the core value of courage, determination, and pride. Okay? I think that's a great quote for leadership. But what I'm talking about is that on the fire ground, when we are trying to get things done, if we have crews that turn out quickly and get to the fire, properly dressed and ready to go with the proper PPE on, if we have crews that have trained together and worked together and stretched their hose properly and efficiently and effectively, things will go better quicker. If we have crews that have trained together and can do a search effectively and quickly, things go better, okay? That's the part of this quote, other than the leadership was one part of it, but that's the part of this quote I wanted to highlight. In the third paragraph of the article, the incident commander first develops an action plan in their own mind. And since the other fire officers responding to the incident are not mind readers, it's incumbent upon the commander to articulate what's in their mind to those officers so that meaningful actions take place to accomplish the plan. This process is a foundation for running the incident operations in a safe and effective manner. When I read foundation, I said, you know, I went back to when I worked for Brad Wilkes Construction, and that was, you know, one of the, that right after the foundation is where we started having a problem, because he can't read a tape, and I couldn't find the board stretcher, all right? Okay? And you think that's, I'm not lying, he sent me to Anderson Lumber on my third day to find a board stretcher, I was gone for an hour. We did it to Burton, we did it to a couple other guys, and it was funny after that, but, all right? But with the foundation, where does this stuff start? Where does learning, where do we get the turnout quickly? Where do we get the proper, the pulling the hose properly? Where does that start?
Right, training.
It comes with the individual. It comes with the pride in the job. It comes with the individual, okay?
Goes back to our ownership discussion.
It does go back to our ownership discussion. We have department SOPs, we have department evolutions, we have department expectations of which is part of the SOPs on when to turn out, how quickly to turn out, what level of PPE we're in for what level of call we're on, okay? Those are actions that can be taken by the individual firefighter to make sure that it's done. How do we get better? How does C Platoon get better at knowing what Brad's thinking in IAP is? How does B Platoon get better at knowing what Aaron IAP is? And A Platoon to Jason. You train together. Brad has company officer meetings with his crew, or crew meetings, to listen to build the cohesiveness of C Platoon, or B Platoon, or A Platoon, okay? All of this happens because we want it to. Not because Chief Ward and Chief Adams wants it to, or Chief Cook or Chief Byington or Chief Wilkes or Chief Vaughn want it to. It happens because you want it to, all right? Individual pride is what Andrew said, okay? But if we train together, if we have the individual pride to keep ourselves ready to go, that we put our PPE away, that we clean our PPE, that we know where our stuff is, okay? Things go bad don't happen as often, okay? But we're more prepared when they do. More things when they go bad. But if you look at all that, planning, organization, communications, and safety, okay, all of those things are part of training, part of individual pride, part of preparation, okay? Now, this, we talked about just a little bit ago, it's kind of one of those cartoon things, okay? Sometimes we want to make this a little harder than it needs to be, okay? The company officer sitting right here saying, dude, this is room contents, so we just put water on it. Sometimes we want to make it harder than it needs to be. Okay? Profile of effective IC. Okay? This is the cartoon I use for the effective IC. Too much under his belt right now. Okay? You have to delegate. 5 to 7 to 1. Okay, we have to delegate, get some stuff going on here. So back to the profile of effective IC, we have standard conditions with standard taking care of standard conditions using standard actions, hopefully provide standard outcomes. Okay? Trying to do it all yourself is not a standard action. Okay? We need to delegate. We need to use the proper, terminology. Okay? Standard condition would be our auto accident. That's what we send. Non-equitable arrest. That's what we send. It's already set. We don't have to call and ask. We don't have to, well, I don't know, maybe not this time, we'll send this one out. Same with the structure fire. It's already set. 3 engines, a truck, an ambulance, and a chief officer. Okay? That's what comes from the CAD. Okay? That's what's to recommend. What do we add to that if available? The rest of our ambulances. Okay? That's what we add to it, is the rest of our ambulances. Okay? But these are the standard conditions. Using standard actions, slice RS, turning out in the proper time, good PPE, good physical conditioning, good hydration, adequate rest. Standard actions will get standard outcomes. With this one being the most important one of all. Everybody goes home. Okay? Everybody goes home. There is no, there's a lot of things we can talk about, there's a lot of things that we can, debate. There's no debate to this one. This is rock solid. Everybody goes home. Okay? Just about to finish up here. I always put this in at the end as well. Don't forget this as we are doing our incident action plan, as we are developing our incident action plan in our own heads, whether it's for the structure fire, the motor vehicle accident out on the freeway, the hazmat incident, the technical rescue call that we're going to get, or whatever. Brent, you said it earlier too when we looked at that structure fire. What do we have to gain? Just remember, within a structured plan, or number 1 and number 10 on the structural rules of firefighting, no life of a firefighter is worth building a piece of property. Period. Look at Jocko there, one of his guys that he took to combat. Stay focused, remember the why, keep your head up, your chest out, and lead your guys where they need to go. But here, stay focused, and remember the why. That was a cool picture. Anybody have any questions or comments or things to add there? Okay, that's my presentation. Thank you. Did everybody get on the roll?
Yes.
No.